But once we got on down the road, I mean, you were on FM roads and the trees were blocking 3/4 of the road, half the road, and just miles of it.
10-4, I got 90-11 on. One shot, consider it hot.
10-4, Mr. Weaver, consider it hot. I got a fuse on fire.
Consider it hot.
10-4.
All right, 10-4, 743, consider it hot.
Well,
Consider it hot. Consider it hot.
you guys do it. 10-4.
Consider it hot.
Consider it hot.
Consider it hot. Consider it hot.
Leigh, welcome to the November edition of the Consider It Hot podcast.
Yes, and let's welcome our members as well.
Welcome, members, to the Consider It Hot podcast. We are fresh off a very busy season at the co-op.
I'm telling you, October
Pretty
was
crazy.
a busy one.
Yeah, so lots of electric cooperative things going on. Thank you to everyone who made it out to the annual meeting. That was a great time.
It truly was such a good experience. And if you did attend, of course, and you've got a meeting attendee survey that's coming out to you.
Yes.
If you did not attend, please look at some of the photos because you missed out on seeing a great show, which was that of Elvis.
Right, the show before the show.
Yes, but also some great information and a tons of door prizes. We hope to see you there next year. That information is on our website.
Yeah, I hear if everything goes to plan, and we're a year out, planning has already started for the next annual meeting, and that we have maybe another entertainer who is not Elvis. Let's just say a Texas legend.
I am so excited.
That's the plan. That's the plan. Now, it's a year out, but...
Who will it be?
Who will it be? That's awesome. All right. Let's get this started. I know I received my Texas Co-op Power magazine in the mail already. Hopefully those are getting out to everyone. Thanksgiving is coming, the beginning of the holiday season. Let me be first to ask, what are you thankful for this year?
I'm thankful for the fact that you just gave me the idea that in Texas we can call fall false instead because it's a false summer.
Wow, false.
But in reality, I am thankful personally for, of course, our Lord and Savior and, of course, my family, my boys. I am thankful for my job, all my work friends, my amazing supervisor.
Right. Keep talking.
My health, just all the things.
No, tell me more about the supervisor.
Oh, the supervisor thing.
How good is he? Is he really good?
Yeah, he's pretty good. You might know him.
That's awesome.
It is an amazing time to be thankful. Maybe not so amazing for turkeys, but what are they grateful for?
What are turkeys grateful for? I mean, I know what they're great for, which is like sandwiches. So.
That is true, but they're actually grateful for the day after Thanksgiving.
The ones who made it. Yes, they are. Okay. we have grateful turkeys on the day after. We have a lot of leftover turkey on the day after. And being thankful for the thing that TVEC is here for is what? Delivering electricity. In the November magazine, Jeff Lane, our CEO, I did not grab him for the podcast this time, but his article...
Is he still in jail? Because he did...
Oh, my goodness, that's right.
He did get put in jail yesterday.
If you haven't seen the social media posts, lest you think it was for something nefarious, Jeff got arrested for charity yesterday. That was hilarious.
Yes, a lot of the local Kaufman community leaders did. It's for a great cause. So check that out on our Facebook page. But what did Jeff give us in this article this week?
Well, this article is giving thanks for the comforts of electricity. And I know it is certainly a more comfortable life. I can't imagine back in the 30s and 40s as the co-ops took off to provide power out to those folks who'd been living without electricity and maybe seeing where electricity had been installed in cities and kind of going, you know what, that's a great idea. So it really is a nod to history and then just exactly what the technology and everything else that has come along with electricity that makes life, modern life, exactly what it is. It's really, really a great thing.
Yeah, I love this article. I read them, of course, but if I were a member and I were reading this, it does make you feel very connected to someone who is at the head of the operations. He's our CEO, but he's also, in the community and connected.
That is very true. Also in the magazine, directly across the page from that, I'm looking at these pages now. We had our crews over assisting after Hurricane Helene. There's some photos of those guys and what they were going through. It's another reason to go to social media, see some sights and sounds from what that was like. If you hang out here, we have Troy Tullos, a lineman, and Chad Marshall, our head of safety, who made that trip. We're going to talk to them in just a little while and get sort of a real-world view of what that was like. We also have we always have efficiency topics. This is something Jeff says a lot. Mm-hmm. We want to provide electricity for everyone, and that's the business. But we only want people to use what they need because it's a nonprofit co-op. And so Chris always has some efficiency information in the magazine, and we'd like to talk to him about it, but he is out at a conference this week. So what does he have going on in the magazine?
That is right. Chris is out at a conference, so I'll just fill in for him here and give a little information on energy efficiency, which we've done before ourselves. So this one's going to be for the modern family. We live in a digital age, of course, but all of the control schedules, everything you do, it really just comes down to the same concepts that we're always talking about with or without the apps. I guess I don't know as much as Chris. I guess they're going to have to read the article.
Well, the article's great. Yeah, technology makes it easier, but it turns out, like you said, it's all the same concepts of using as little energy as possible to be as comfortable as you need to be. And that is always a good thing. And
we always share the Operation Roundup articles on our social media page, too. So we'll link those, of course, if you're interested in reading that.
Operation Roundup. What is going on with Operation Roundup this month?
So first, going to recap on where we stand with totals to date. Looking at these numbers, in total for 2024, members have rounded up their bills, most at an average of just 2 quarters per month, and given back to the communities that we serve, the communities that they live in, nearly $409,000.
Way to go.
Inception to date, just over $4.2 million to 285 local nonprofits. Much like One Man's Treasure, they're truly making an impact right here at home.
Yes, indeed. It is the most fun to go out and see these folks who are putting feet on the ground to do great work and supported by TVEC members. It's really, really awesome.
It really is. So just to speak to the Texas Ramp Project, they use those donated dollars to help fund the building of wheelchair ramps for low-income adults or adults with other disabilities. They provide a safe, strong, and durable access to their homes while also being ADA compliant.
Very good.
And then Serenity Church. So that's actually using funds to assist in giving back to the homeless, both by helping to provide things like hot meals, clothing, shelter to these folks, also practical needs like accessing government and social programs.
Homeless ministries are great.
Yes, and thinking about that, it kind of leads us right into the final grant that was awarded, and that one being One Man's Treasure, because they are helping in so many ways.
The heart, you'll hear it when we talk to Annette Jenkins. Let's just welcome Annette and let her tell the story of One Man's Treasure and what that is, and I think everybody will really benefit from just seeing her heart and 20 years of helping out folks at a very critical point in life.
Hey, Annette, how are you? This is Leigh. I'm the one over here that, like Don said, does the Operation Roundup grant page, but it's the members who really contribute to those funds that are produced and given to great organizations like One Man's Treasure, providing assistance for newly released inmates to help transition back into regular life. You guys are celebrating 20 years next year. Is that right?
That's correct. 20 years, and we have already been able to serve over 23,000 men.
Wow, that's amazing. So can you, Annette, give us a quick overview of what exactly is One Man's Treasure?
Well, it began, as you said, 20 years ago by a volunteer, a lady who volunteered with Kairos Prison Ministry down at the George Beto unit. And she and her husband got to know many of the men who were participating in that program. And as some of them were being released, they began to share with her the concerns and the challenges that they saw that they would be having when they were released. And so she looked at this social issue of the formerly incarcerated and zeroed in on one aspect of it, which was critical to successful reentry, and that is finding employment. As part of that is the need for good quality clothing, wear on job interviews. So in addition to the need for clothing for employment, there was just really a need for basic clothing needs, because when a man is released from prison, he's only provided with $100, a bus ticket, and one shirt and pair of pants that he walks out of the prison with.
Wow.
And for many of these men, they return to families who cannot financially support them and help them attain the other basic necessities that they need. Her focus was to be the source of clothing for men when they were released.
I've just been, I kind of was looking up some information on you guys before here and seeing that the social integration into a community and their lack of having any kind of support, that's what could cause reincarceration. So I know when you look better, you feel better. And so just helping to provide that is such a small thing for the members that we can do and help provide, but probably a very big impact on these men who were coming out of prison.
Right. It's the program is geared, as you said, to restore a sense of dignity as they reintegrate into the community and into their families, and to really help them attain employment that will lift them and help their families be lifted out of poverty. The statistics that show men who are able to be successful in that reintegration are, if they find employment, they're less likely to reoffend and go back to prison. And so that is where the focus is on the clothing that we provide for them, is to meet their basic needs of daily clothing, but also we personalize each set of clothes that a man receives to their basics, not only their basic sizes that they need, favorite colors, but also that possibly will be needed for the type of employment that they will be into, such as construction, warehousing, specialty clothing that they may need to accept employment down the road, and then also clothing for job interviews.
Mm-hmm.
That's really neat. Is there a basic list of what that entails? I saw something on the website, that listed some pants, shirts, and basics. What does a basic package from you guys look like when someone is coming out?
A basic package includes 5 to 6 shirts, and there's a combination of dress shirts that's appropriate for job interviews or for attending church, that type of thing. It's a combination of dress shirts and casual shirts, such as polo shirts. They get 2 pair of pants. Usually, most of the men prefer having 1 pair of good blue jeans and then a pair of washable dress pants. They get 1 pair of shoes, and we ask them what type they want, whether dress shoes, tennis shoes, or work boots. Mm-hmm. Work boots are in high demand because so many of the jobs that are available to them require that, so we're able to provide that for them. They get 4 pair of new underwear, 4 pair of socks. During the winter, we provide them with a winter coat, hat, and gloves. And then there's also a belt, T-shirt, and sometimes we get unique items that they require. We had one 72-year-old man who had been incarcerated for 40 years, who was at a transition home, and and his special request was for a bathrobe.
Oh, wow.
We normally don't get bathrobes and we don't give them out, but that day that he called in, we happened to have received a clothing donation from a widow, and in the clothing that she gave us was a bathrobe. And so we were able to add that to his standard package of clothing.
That is pretty neat.
Meant a lot to him.
Yeah, sometimes you think, man, that's just not a coincidence. That is something else happening there. That is so neat.
One of the questions we were going to ask was going to be maybe a specific impact that you've seen, maybe a particular story. So that's one, but is there any others that you think could, make me have goosebumps on my arm again?
A part of the program that we have is that the clothing is delivered to the men, their place of residence, because transportation is one of the challenges that men have.
All right.
And so we have male volunteers who deliver the clothes to the men and take that opportunity also to visit with them for a while. We call these volunteers shepherds. And one of the things that means a lot for us and for the program and for the men that are part of the program are when some of the shepherds that we have are men who were former clients of ours.
Oh, wow.
They were formerly incarcerated. They received clothes from one treasure. They were successful in reintegrating into the community, got a job, got on their feet, and picked up the phone and called and said, I want to volunteer. How can I help?
That's great.
So they make very impactful peer advocates for the men that they deliver clothes to, because they've walked in their shoes.
Yeah, who knows better what difference that's going to make than those guys? Wow.
Absolutely. They understand the oftentimes overwhelming experience going from the environment they have been in to the world as it has changed since they were incarcerated. So that is one of the things. But a real direct story of one particular man that I can think of was the man, his first name was Willie, and he had been incarcerated for about 25 years. He called in and we put together a package of clothes for him, which included dress shoes, because he said that he did want dress shoes to go on interviews. And so a couple of days later, after he got his set of clothes, he called back and he said that he had an offer to get a job. It was in waste management. The requirement of the job was he had to have steel. And he said, I'd be happy to return them if you think I could get a pair of steel boots, because I can't take the job. And he didn't have money. And so we happened to be blessed with having his size work boot on hand. And we had one of our shepherds who took him the work boots, and he was able to start the job the next day. Several months later, he called back up at the clothes closet and said that he had been hourly in the job that he was, and they had offered him a promotion and to go full time.
Yeah.
And he was able to stay in that position, and then found another job that was full time and offered benefits. And he continued to call us to give us updates on where his life was, and eventually became one of our volunteers.
That is so cool.
So those are real individualized things. When you're serving 3,000 men a year, we're not going to be able to get all the details of all of their lives, but our recidivism rate, that's the return to prison rate of our men, is less than 10%.
Oh, wow.
Compared to national statistics that are 68. In the state of Texas, it's anywhere from 20 to 44%. Those statistics are part of the result of where we can see the results of what is happening with the program. We also have a relationship with about 40 other nonprofit transition homes, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, and prison ministries that we collaborate with to identify the men that need the help.
That's great.
And are able to be the clothing resource for all these other organizations. Huh. So it becomes this partnership of people who have recognized this real social need in the community and come together to help these men, give these men that second chance we all talk about.
20 years of helping and also networking with other helpers, as it were.
Absolutely.
Well, I was surfing the website. That's onemanstr.org. Surfing that a little bit earlier today, and I saw that it looks like you have some intense collection efforts for gently used clothing around the Cedar Creek Lake area. That's our neck of the woods. Do you happen to have any information on that, or should we just send people to the website for how to help?
Well, the details will be on the website and also on our Facebook page.
Okay.
But I would love to tell you about it too. It's a remarkable collaboration by the mayors of the cities around Cedar Creek Lake, who have come together and starting this Friday, November the 1st, we will be collecting, the different city halls will be collecting clothes for One Man's Treasure, starting with Gun Barrel City will be this Friday and Saturday. Then the next weekend, which I think is the 8th and 9th, is Maybank. Then the next weekend, the 15th, will be Caney City. Right. The 16th will be down to Malakoff. And then the 22nd and 23rd will be in Toul.
And is that available for drop-off until those dates, or how does that work for people who might want?
Those actually, they will be the boxes, or the collection boxes, are in those city halls already.
Right. Okay.
And so they're beginning to collect now, but the special Friday and Saturday collections, we will have our One Man's Treasure van parked in front, and we'll be collecting on that Saturday, since the city halls are closed on Saturday.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But the cities are collecting now, and then they'll be collecting it before, leading up to their weekend.
So those collection boxes don't stay permanently. Those are leading up for this drive.
Right. It's
okay.
Right. Well, right now.
Sure.
We'll
now
see.
I like to hear that civic engagement from our cities around here. Supporting the program. That's really great to hear.
Yes, it's really been a blessing, and it will raise awareness of the issue too.
Sure.
You know, I think that a lot of times, a lot of people, I know I was, until I got involved with One Man's Treasure, was really not aware of the impact of, each year there are between 35 and 45,000 men that are released from a Texas state prison. That is the size of a city.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, to me, that's hard to wrap my head around. Probably about 15,000 of those return to the Dallas this part of the East Texas area. That's what we estimate that come here.
Wow.
This is a huge issue. And these are men who, in most cases, do not have the support that they need when they get out. As much as we are loving the fact that we're going to have this clothing drive and be able to meet some real serious clothing needs that we have, it is also raising the awareness of the issue itself, that we have these men, we need to be there to give them a hand up.
Mm-hmm. So just to, closing out and really thinking about what you said and how we're coming up on the winter months at these drop-off locations, would like something like work boots, winter coats, would those be the items that are in most need, or do you have preferences, or is it just accept all? What does that look like in a situation of someone that hears this podcast is wanting to come out and bring donated items?
Shoes are always a real challenge for us to have what we need. The winter coats, it's hard to believe, but at some point we are going to need the winter coats.
Right.
So that will be a specialty need. Nice blue jeans are difficult for us to have what we need. So that's another, what we call critical need.
Critical need.
Larger size shirts are something that we don't get a lot of in the donations, and there's a big need for that. And work boots are, because of the cost of those work boots, those are always a need that we have, and they don't have to be new. As long as they're in good shape.
That is great advice. I know that I'm going to be going through my closet over the next couple of weeks to help out with this cause. And if someone is interested, Dawn gave us that website, and we'll be sure to include your Facebook page as well. Is there anything else that you want to close out with, Annette, that you would like to tell us about One Man's Treasure?
One Man's Treasure is a unique organization touching the lives of often overlooked population of men who really want to change the direction of their lives. And the impact of helping them be successful touches not only them, but their families and their children and the community, because it results in safer communities. It saves money for taxpayers. But at the heart of everything, it is helping an individual be restored to a life that he wants and we can help him achieve. And Dawn, I would like to just take 1 second to thank everyone who's part of Operation Roundup and the foundation for the grant, the support that y'all have given, that provides us with funding to meet the needs that we don't have on hand. And so on behalf of the board and our staff and the men that we serve, I want to say thank you for being part of this mission.
Well, I think
these years.
It's so great. One thing, whenever we're doing these Operation Roundup grants, of course, we want to point right back to the members who are so generous. Even though it's a small amount, with so many members, it adds up. And it's all their money, and so we get to do it. It's so much fun, and I really just thank you for doing the work of that. The members provide the money, but you guys put the feet on the ground to make great things happen. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Right, take care. Okay, so I hope we get a lot of folks out to these clothing donation drive points and go visit onemanstr.org. There's Amazon shopping list and that kind of thing. Lots of ways to help. A really neat organization, and what they do really impacts folks and really impacts the whole state when you consider keeping people out of jail. That's important. Well, we have another interview to go here with our folks that went out to help after Hurricane Helene, they spent a total of 2 weeks, 2 different crews, split time out there. And it seems like the restoration work, you get many hands make light work, as they say. We had our crew met up with the crews from Cherokee County. So we had lots of Texas help over there. I think it was 12 co-ops. Mm-hmm. Is that what TEC said? Mm-hmm. 12 Texas co-ops went over there helping out and got the job done, along with lots of others from around the country. We're proud of our Texas crews. Let's talk now with Troy Tullos. He will tell us about his experience going over there. He is one of our linemen from down in Brownsboro. Thank you very much for coming to talk to us. And you are recently back from Georgia.
Yes, sir.
Joined, was it 8 guys?
Yeah, I think 8.
So y'all headed out actually before the hurricane hit.
Yep, we headed down there the day it was making landfall.
Right. And so was that a layover in Alabama? And
yep. So we drove into Birmingham, Alabama that night, and then got up and left to go to Snapping Shoals.
Snapping Shoals, a co-op not much different size than this one, I believe.
Yeah, I think they're about the same size.
Okay, so familiar in size, and co-ops are kind of all the same in a way. We can work together. Mm-hmm. Of course, that's a whole different world when you got hurricane damage, and that's pretty far inland as well, isn't it?
Yeah, they're pretty much in central Georgia.
Okay,
right south of Atlanta. So.
That hurricane did some damage, and of course, we're still seeing images from North Carolina and those flooding issues. But give us just a window into what that looked like pulling into the hurricane zone.
So honestly, up into Atlanta, it really wasn't that bad, and even the Snapping Shoals there at co-op there, it wasn't that bad really. I think we spent a day, maybe day and a half there.
Okay,
and then we left to head to Jefferson Energy.
Okay, and that was a little bit over to the east.
Yeah, that was really so. We were on the South Carolina Georgia border. And that's really where the devastation was. The tree damage was bad. You know, the wind, water wasn't too bad in the areas that we got to travel through, but the trees, I mean, most of the time when we got off the interstate headed towards Jefferson, because that's kind of, they took the east side of everything, and because they were thinking when we went to Snapping Shoals that the eye was going to hit there. That's why we went to go there.
Right.
But once we got on down the road, I mean, you were on FM roads and the trees were blocking 3/4 of the road, half the road, and just miles of it.
So how much of the work is clearing the way to get to the work? Yeah,
so the right-of-way crews that jumped ahead of us, they did a pretty good job of getting all the trees out of the way and the community coming together to get the trees out of the road so we can get there and do the work, you know.
Right. So that's their homeland. As we get crews coming over to help us in bad storm situations, so we get to be on the receiving end of that. Y'all spent a week over there, is that right?
Yeah, so we spent 9 days there. And it was a long 9 days. We did a lot of work, but luckily we got some people's lights back on while we were there.
And you were saying early on y'all didn't have any kind of connectivity to reach back home and let people know how things were going or any of that stuff too?
When we first got there, when we got off the interstate pretty much and got into some rural area headed to that office, we lost phone service and we didn't have phone service for like the first 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Everybody, you know, there didn't have no power. The stores weren't open. It was a mess. Luckily, they coordinated enough to get us fuel and food like that to eat and a place to stay.
Living quarters is a little different in a storm situation that big. And of course, if hotels don't have power and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so that was a little different situation of living there. And I mean, it's not a vacation. It's you know, at that particular place, we had a man camp, is what you call it, and it's like 18-wheeler trailers with about 36 beds per trailer. So that's 3 beds on both sides. It's pretty tight in there.
Get to know your neighbors a little bit.
Yeah, usually when we travel, you know, it's the devastation is not that bad. But this place, I mean, it's just, there wasn't power for nowhere.
Right. Just looking at the photos we got back, you guys met up with Cherokee County Electric Co-op, which is just down in Rusk, right?
Yep.
What was it like to end up running into some, basically your neighbors doing the work over there?
It was pretty comical. So when we pulled up there to do orientation at that co-op, we all kind of walked in and sat down at the same time, and they were like, "Oh, y'all are from Texas?" And yeah, both of us. They said, "All right, we all just work together then." So they just paired us up, and luckily we all got along with those guys, and they worked real well.
That's good.
Worked good together.
That's really good. When How many trips have you taken of this kind of mutual aid trips?
I'd say probably 6 or
6 trips.
Okay.
So. And how long have you been here?
6 years.
So you're looking at doing some traveling every year.
Yeah.
I say doing some traveling like it's a vacation. When you see storms coming, or there's situations that might come like that, what's going through your mind as you prepare to? This might be a situation that we're going to be going on.
You're going because these people need help and they ain't got no power and ain't nobody like to be without power. So
right.
I feel like the more you get to go and help, it makes you feel good.
There is a downside, of course.
Yeah. So when you do volunteering and get to go due to those things, you are leaving behind a family. And myself, I leave a wife and 2 kids at home. And, sometimes we're only gone for 3 or 4 days or in a trip like we just had, we were gone for 9 days. So it does make it rough. You get to miss events here and there, that you might not want to, but it's part of it, somebody else needs help.
But you said you did make it back?
Yeah. So I actually made it back about 30 minutes before my son's 2nd birthday on that Saturday. So that was a pretty good time in there. I didn't have to miss the birthday party.
Yeah. Talking about being in trouble.
Yeah.
and I guess we should say kudos to your wife. Obviously, you're leaving and getting the satisfaction of doing the work and really being a hero in the eyes of the people you're restoring power, and she's back at home. What would you say to her?
She does a really good job of keeping everything held together and at home.
That's awesome.
Without that, you couldn't do it. You got to have somebody good at home.
All right. Well, I know, like I said, we're the recipient of mutual aid when we need it, and certainly appreciate guys like you going out to do the work other places too. And I know that that concept of cooperation among cooperatives, all the things that we do really kind of makes the cooperative spirit strong. So we thank you for that. Thanks for coming to talk to us. And it's good talking to you, Troy.
Yes, sir. No problem.
All right. Shout out to Brownsboro there. Okay. So that was great to hear from Troy about how his experience went down out in Georgia. He was in the first crew of folks that went. Chad Marshall, our manager of safety and loss control, was in the second group that went. And they, followed on with what was already going on there. We talked to Chad a little bit earlier. Let's see what he had, what his experience was. He's a more seasoned hand, as it were, and had a little different role in what was going on in Georgia. Welcome to the podcast, Chad Marshall. What is your actual title here? Head of Safety.
Safety and Loss Control Coordinator.
That is incorrect. It
Supervisor.
Is Manager of Safety and Loss Control.
Manager of Safety and Loss. We just know you as the safety guy.
Yes. Not the safety cop, safety guy.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
Safety guy. But really, that puts you in a big, in a dangerous job. That puts you in a spot of great responsibility. So we always appreciate your efforts. We just went over 5 years of no lost time accidents. We talked about that before. And so those kinds of things, that's not nothing.
Absolutely. It's something to hang our hat on as a cooperative.
Yeah.
And I'm going to revert back to my job being hazardous. It's nowhere near in comparison to, the team members we have in the field that are out there working on the power lines,
right,
meters, and one of the most hazardous things that we do is even driving. Mm-hmm. So,
sure.
Sure. I'm in a little bit more or safer conditions than they are.
You have done that job before, though.
Yes.
You just give us the 2-second. What's your background?
Before safety professional come about, I was a power distribution lineman.
Okay.
From another cooperative. I was blessed to be able to, create member services and everything and get lights back on just like the guys and gal do here.
Yeah. Okay. So we actually didn't bring you here to talk safety, though. What is the safety guy? What is your role when you head out with these guys to go to Georgia, like last week, or any other storm-related response? What is your role in that crew?
Well, I will say, first off, the credit needs to be given to the worker, the lineman that that were up there on the poles. Now, I did get in a bucket once.
Hey.
Scott Stewart has a good story about that for another time, of course. But
Next month, maybe.
my role in those duties were providing compliance, making sure that our crews had the traffic control that they needed, because we worked around a lot of roads to make sure that grounds were placed, openings were given, clearances were given, and made sure all of our tagging procedures were followed.
Very good.
Do all mutual aid crews bring their own safety manager?
They do not. And actually, for Trinity Valley, this is new this year. So, no, to answer that, they do not.
Well, within the it would seem like chaos, I guess, because just the sheer scale of damage. How did this sort of rate among what you've been to in the past, and what were we looking at on the ground when you guys got there?
Well, on the ground, coming in there, we were about 2 weeks behind when the initial hurricane hit landfall.
So at Jefferson. So
yes, this was at Jefferson, following the group that went in front of us. So the severity of it, the trees were 150-foot pine trees. They were toppled over. It looked like a box of toothpicks in some situations. But the severity of it in comparison to what I've seen, this is the worst by far.
Wow.
Even in comparison to Katrina.
So the actual damage on the ground was, Katrina had all the flooding and that sort of thing, but this was
not so much water damage here in the areas we were working. We were very fortunate at that, but from the spin up tornadoes off of the hurricane was the cause of all the damages. But I've never really seen such a small area, and a lot of it were urban towns where you could not go down the road, drive down the road very far. But it was definitely a devastation zone. It was something, looking at it, thinking about home, you're just very thankful we have what we have, and you pray and hope that the people that have gone through this, that they rebound and they recoup. All the people that we had talked to, they were great spirits. They were very giving, even though they had nothing. They were very giving. So it was a lot of gratitude. It was very humbling.
One other thing, we have to put out hurricane information in our magazine, and people may wonder why that is. I was doing some mapping and saw that our territory goes down to Palestine, which is about 180 miles from the coast. Just where you were seeing all this damage is well over 200 miles from the coast. And then all the flooding damage we saw at North Carolina and all that, that's another 100 miles away. Is there anything you would share with members about disaster preparedness? That, coming from a safety guy perspective, we got the company covered, but when you think about maybe that couldn't get here or that kind of thing, what would you say to encourage members to maybe think twice about being prepared?
I would definitely encourage members to plan, to watch the weather, to be prepared, just because we won't be affected by water situations or possible flooding. High winds here in Texas are, we've taken the blunt of that many times for outage situations, but have a plan, be prepared, whether it be a generator, a plan to evacuate, take care of think about your families first and foremost. I mean, get out. If you can go to a hotel, go to a different county. If you have relatives in a different area, go stay with them. Even though it's home, I think your lives are more important than waiting it out.
All right. Leigh, anything?
So another thing that we just actually got back from, which, Chad, you came right out of mutual aid, went straight to internationals practically, was the International Lineman Rodeo. And I know that you are also there as a safety supervisor. What is your role at the rodeo in comparison to how you look out for things there? What are you doing there to help the guys?
I'm strictly there for support when it comes to the rodeo. anything the guys need, whether it be a meal, whether it be carry their drag bag, do whatever.
Wait. What's drag bag?
Drag bag, that is correct. A drag bag, for those that do not know, is a bag. Usually Trinity Valley supplies a big orange bag that houses climbing tools, their hooks, their climbing belt, fall restraint, and hand tools that they carry from point A to point B.
What does that weigh?
Oh, you're probably looking at 75 pounds.
That explains the muscles then.
No,
good job.
No, it does not. So you can only imagine what the guys are going through that's up there on the pole with that extra weight.
Right.
So I'm just down there, my neck kind of gets sore from looking up, but yeah, I'm there for support.
Very cool. And was it a good rodeo this year? We did the international one, which was seemed like it must have been a great experience. I didn't get to go.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit more about the results and everything. But for me personally, only my left arm has muscles because that's the only one I used to take pictures with and hold the lens. So
very cool.
Yeah, it was a great experience. I think the thing that sticks out to me is it's a family environment. Mm-hmm. The participants are there and their families are there to support them, and a lot of people that are grateful, like, me and Leigh that get to go and support and watch and take pictures and all of that good stuff. That's a perk with its own, but I think it makes you realize the importance of support from the family side of things that these linemen have too.
Right.
Sticks out to me, and the support of our great country. There were flags flying proudly everywhere. It was a God Bless America event.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's fun.
It was. And it was really cool. We got to go to an expo, and I walked around and learned so much, and just watching Chad look at some of these new safety, procedures and new products that they have. So we're always on the lookout for being better for our members, better for our service, better for Trinity Valley. And
I'm very fortunate to get to see all of the ideas. A lot of our guys at a lot of these rodeo events where the vendors, they have their venue set up. They'll tug me this way or tug me that way. Looking at all these ideas that would be effective or life changing for them. So I get to go and mingle with the different vendors and sales associates of different products and even software. It's just it recognizes how our trade is constantly changing. The devices are getting instrument rated devices. It's just the technology poured into power distribution. It's eye opening.
Well, hopefully that'll. Well, yeah, but y'all are picking up things that do end up improving our service, improving response time, making everything safer and better to serve members better. So that's really good.
Yes, there's a lot of good ideas that we bring back home with us, and that we have great ideas. Take to the safety committee for an example. Get some feedback from our other linemen that are out there, and if it's good fit for us, we put it into action.
Very good. I sure appreciate you stopping by to talk to us. I know we should probably have like a Chad comes by and tells us a new acronym or term to teach the members. Now we know drag bag.
Drag bag, yes.
Drag bag. So I know there's a ditty bag as well.
Yes, but
a lot of different bags in this thing.
There is. There's a lot of different bags, a lot of different acronyms. I would definitely not ask a member to carry your drag bag.
No, for sure.
Your shoulders will be sore just like mine carrying them for these guys.
Well, very good. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming by, and we look forward to talking to you more in the future.
Well, thank you, Don and Leigh, for having me.
Thank you. So in thinking about what Chad was talking to us about, I even learned something new because we asked about if everyone has a safety guy on their teams. I didn't know that. They didn't. So that's awesome to see that, we're taking that as a very important and crucial role here at Trinity Valley, with
the whole crew is not just guys. There's so many moving parts in line work these days, and in a situation like that where you have so many people on the ground, communication is tough. Having extra set of eyes and experienced person to make sure that everybody is absolutely doing their best to stay safe is very important. I'm glad we do that.
Me too, but I'm sad that no one got a photo of Chad in the bucket.
Chad got in the bucket. That's right. He said he did.
Yep.
No photos of the bucket, but we do have photos online if anybody has a chance to go look at that.
We sure do. And some other photos that we have. Actually, I've got a little joke to lead us into this one.
Uh-oh, what you got?
So did you hear about the scarecrow who won first prize?
I did not hear about the first prize scarecrow.
It was outstanding in its field.
As it would be.
Which is also what it sounds like Chad's doing when he's following behind these guys with the grab bag, was it? Drag bag.
Drag bag.
There we go.
Bag. He is outstanding in the... Wait, is this the field of competition?
This is the field of competition.
Okay. Tell us about... You went to Lineman Rodeo in July, and this is Lineman Rodeo number 2 for you.
That it is. So
what'd you do?
Yep. So after a strong showing at the Texas Lineman Rodeo this summer, Trinity Valley Electric Co-op team, we were given the opportunity to, like you said, travel to the international competition. This was held in Overland Park in Kansas. The International Rodeo attracts the best linemen worldwide to compete in events based on traditional lineman tasks. The competition highlights essential skills that our crews use actually here and home every day, along with a few mystery events and an emphasis on working safely.
Good.
So these challenges help linemen enhance their abilities, maintain proficiency, and learn from each other in the fun but competitive environment. How did TVEC do? Well, TVEC crews did an outstanding job, much like that scarecrow, with great individual and team performances in the top 25% of competitors. That's out of more than 220 teams from our journeyman side, and then the apprentice division of 380 total apprentices that were out there competing. So I had no idea, Don, honestly.
Yeah, that's a lot.
When I went to Texas Lineman Rodeo, I had no idea what to expect. But then going to internationals, I felt like I understood a little more about how the competition works, what sort of point system is used, what it means to compete and then succeed. But internationals, it was an entirely different beast.
All right. And that's at least in a cooler part of the year.
Yeah, the weather was beautiful, but not only because of that, but because it's on such a larger scale, but also I really just put into perspective that you have all of these folks from all over the world who are all doing the same job. And then you realize that these men and women, because there was one that competed at internationals, they're providing an essential need to people every single day. And we really are all connected.
Absolutely.
And like we said, we included some photos of the TVEC crews that participated and, noted who was out there competing. And it was an amazing experience. And I'm proud to call these guys my work family.
Not too much experimenting going on. Did you experiment on any food? Okay, you were up just outside of Kansas City.
Oh, I did. I went to a barbecue joint.
I was about to say Kansas City is known for barbecue somewhat inferior to Texas barbecue. I
forget what the place was called, but it was like top 3.
Okay. Top 3. Who's top 3?
Top 3 if you went and asked Google where the top restaurants are for barbecue in Kansas City.
To be honest, I have not sampled Kansas City barbecue. I'm sure it is quite good, and we are proud of our Texas barbecue down here. But that is not where I went for lineman lunch for November. If you could,
yes, that'd be a long drive. For
I'm sure
lunch.
They would recommend some good KC barbecue, but Colby Stone, one of our apprentice linemen, I believe, he sent me to Brothers Cafe in Canton, which is close to my house, so that's very convenient. And I'll tell you what, it is just exactly what you expect when you go into a place called Brothers Cafe. You have excellent service from local folks and excellent food. Colby in particular mentioned that for the money, you get a great deal of food, and he liked to be a regular there so people recognize him when he comes in, knows what he's going to get. And there was something unique on the menu that I'm not real sure about. I didn't try it, probably should. Not sure my stomach can handle it because it is chupacabra fries.
Chupacabra fries.
Do you know what a chupacabra is?
A Star Wars character?
That is a great guess. Look that one up on the old internets. It is quite a beast of legend and lore. We got some other things in the magazine as well.
We sure do. We've got some bill credit opportunities, and who doesn't love that? We had our energy quiz, of course. So in September, Lisa Hurt of Chandler, she won. We just want to say thank you for participating. But
yes, Lisa, thank you.
If you want to be announced on next month's podcast, you're going to have to play to pay. No, you're going to have to play to get paid. Because what percentage of U.S. electricity generation was in Texas in 2023?
And it's a lot. I mean, we have a big state. And we have a big energy consumption. And, of course, we have our own energy grid. So, yeah, there's your question.
It's a lot. Is that an answer that's on there?
No, a lot is not a percentage. We are not doing that. There's another opportunity for a bill credit. And here's your hint. If it's your account number, it is on the same page as the energy quiz. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, how about that?
I don't think you've ever given a hint like that before.
No. When I first started working here, it was kind of funny. When I took over producing the magazine pages, it was I'd got in trouble. I got in trouble from some of the folks who were looking for their account number because I had put it in like ads or places in the magazine that maybe they weren't expecting it to be.
Okay.
And we got some phone calls. And so now it is fairly easy to spot. It's just, it has to be your number. So there we go. So the magazine, the statewide portion, which has so many great stories and interesting things, has holiday bite recipes. So holiday bites, what does that even mean? Let's see. Let's look. Okay. Holiday bites, share these flavorful snacks with friends, especially friends who work at the co-op. Hint, hint. And be prepared to share the recipes. Cranberry turkey meatballs. I don't know that a meatball needs cranberry in it, does it?
Is the meat turkey?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Very good. Olive cheese balls and feta and dill stuffed shrimp. Now that would be up my alley. Okay. That sounds like a great thing. The cover story, if you looked in there, it's a little bit scary. You look at the cover. A gentleman, very confident gentleman, with a rattlesnake.
It looks more like the cover of a hunting magazine.
Yeah. I mean, this is a big rattlesnake. Turns out this guy does snake removal and is very, he is well acquainted with the snakes and their benefits. Mm-hmm. So, keeping nature in balance is important. So maybe you'll learn something about snakes in there. And there's another really good story in here about a gentleman who lost his sight, and he's also a really good dominoes player. The story itself, though, is a lot deeper than that, about sort of coming back from losing the sight, and it's a really good read, and I hope everybody enjoys that. That's really about all I've got for this month. Anything else on your end there?
Just one more thing that I think the members should know about is that we're going to be having an office closure.
You mean we're going to close for Thanksgiving?
We're going to close on November 28th and 29th for Thanksgiving, but we will reopen, do not fret, on Monday, December 2nd at 8:15 a.m., our normal business operating hours. Of course, during the time that we are closed, crews will be on call for outages or emergencies.
Because that's what they do.
My tummy's growling. I guess it's all that talk about the holiday bites.
Oh, man. Well, I do hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. And, it's that time of year where we really start to enjoy each other's company, I hope. We're recording this before the election. So hopefully everybody is still at peace with each other after that. And
yes, and it's also... We also just want to say thank you to our veterans in honor of Veterans Day that's happening this month.
Interesting that it follows the election. Maybe it should come before the election. Without the veterans, we wouldn't have the elections. So,
that is so
true. Thank you to everyone who has defended our country. We certainly appreciate that. I think we got to wrap this one up and say we will see you next month. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, and have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yes, indeed.